Hi there, this is Kristen with KML Creatives, and today I am going to walk through a full edit with you using the new autumn collection. I'm going to go through showing you how I apply the cloud overlays and the birds and how I process using the actions. The image I'm using is provided by Dalton Ln Portrait Co. Jessica is a friend of mine, and I'm always so appreciative of her lending me her images for me to test my products on. You can go check her out on her Facebook page. It's Dalton Ln Portrait Co. So this is her before, and this is what we are going to walk through, and I will show you how I did this. So we're going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do, because I like to do this way, is apply the clouds, because I want the actions to actually play with the clouds as well. So I'm using cloud A, and we're going to select it all and copy. And I'm going to paste it on the image. I'm going to put it about where I want it. Turn down the opacity so I can see. Let me pull this up just a little bit more. And then I'm going to add a layer mask. And then using a soft low opacity brush, start masking it off of the trees. Actually, I want this a little higher, because I don't want any of it. Well, might help if I switched to black. I don't want any of it on the trees. Readjust my brush size to get into those tiny little details. Turn down the opacity a little bit more so I can really blend this so there's not that definite line there. You have to bear with me. I usually edit with my pen and tablet, but when I'm recording, my pen gets all wonky and just doesn't want to behave, so I'm having to do this with a mouse, and I'm not used to editing with a mouse, so it takes me a little longer. More up in here. Okay. Now what I personally like to do is take this and duplicate it. I turn the first layer into multiply. And I turn it down. Whoop, I actually did that backwards. I'm going to actually delete this layer. I put this in multiply, and then I duplicate that layer and put it into soft light. And I really like the combination of the two layers together and what they do. I turn down the multiply layer just because I don't want it quite so dark. Turn up the soft light layer because I want it a little brighter. So I'm liking how that looks. Now, because the trees in the background are a little bit blurred from the depth of field, I always will blur excuse me, my cloud overlays because I want them to match. I don't want it to look fake. I want it to look like the clouds were actually there. So I will Gaussian blur it to where it looks like that's really the way they are. And I think I like that, so I'm good with that. I'm going to flatten this, and so it's kind of like just starting from scratch with a fresh image that had the clouds in it. I actually want to darken this image a little bit, so I'm going to click on turn down the light, run it through, and then I'm going to turn it down, and then I'm actually going to mask off a good portion of this. I really wanted the foreground a little bit darker. I wanted him a little bit darker, but I don't want the background darker. So I'm actually going to just mask off a lot of this. Turn this up a little bit. A little bit there. Yep, that feels better to me. So now I'm going to flatten it. And then I'm going to go to warm up the cools. And you can see how that really just warms up the entire image. Going to adjust my poppet layer and just bring it up a little bit more. Turn down my make it golden layer. I'm actually going to turn down I'm just going to turn off the warm touch. I think I'm going to mask off just a little bit up in here. A touch throughout the trees and the shadowed areas. Not a lot, just a little bit here and there. And after, I'm going to turn it down just a touch. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to flatten it. And then I'm going to click on Fall the Greens. And I'm going to start masking. I don't want all of this to be red, so we're just gonna get rid of that. Don't want him to be red. I'm gonna go through and just pick little pieces here and there. I want a little red here, a little red there. Don't really want it on here. Just going to take that off. Now I'm going to turn it up. Mask off. Whoops. Make sure you're masking on those, on the masking. It's on the mask itself and not your image, because I do that all the time. Blend this in a little bit more. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I even like what it does to the sky. Okay, good with that. I'm going to flatten it. Then I'm going to go to, where is it? My red orange kicker. You can see how the red orange kicker really just amps up the color saturation. Mask this off him a little off the grass in here. I'm going to turn on my warm reds And I'm actually going to invert this and start painting where I want to. I need to turn it up. Just a little here, a little there. Just little pops of color. Turn on my cool reds. Again, invert that. Turn down my opacity. And just add little bits. And this is a little too much. I'm actually going to turn it down. Now, a lot of times if this seems too much, I will actually Gaussian blur the layer mask. It just helps to smooth it out a little, so it doesn't look so chunky. Don't like chunkiness. Now I'm blurring the masking layer itself so that the painting that I did on it is a little bit smoother. So this is before, this is after. I might turn it down just a teeny tiny touch. Actually, no. I'm going to turn these down a little bit. Before, after. Turn my saturated up just a touch to there. And I like that, so I'm going to flatten it. I'm going to go to the birds. And resize them. And because they are in the distance, I'm going to add a slight blur to them. Right about there. And then I'm actually going to turn down the opacity so they don't stand out quite so much. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to flatten that. I think I might want to amp my yellows just a little bit. And turn this down just to add a nice rich warm feel to the image. Mask it off him a little bit because I don't want him looking all yellow. Just adds just the slight amount of gold I want. Flatten it. And I think I'm pretty good with this, so I'm actually going to go to Make It Rich and start finishing. Use my Make It Rich. Really pop all of that out. Turn it down just a touch. I'm going to mask some of this off of in here. Yep, I like that. Flatten. And finish it off with End of the day. Now I'm actually going to mask this completely off the sky because I don't want that sky any bluer. Turn down my opacity. Mask just a little bit off in here. Turn off my warm center light. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I like the way that looks. I don't think I want to do any more to it. Maybe a little bit of the matte off of in here. Just a little in here. Yeah, I like that. And then flatten it. And I'm done. As soon as this flattens. So we started with this. And now we got this. Really fun. I hope you'll get in there and get creative and have fun with it. Thanks for listening.